Hey there. I want to tell you the truth of the psychology of the way that we feel that ranges in each moment. There's what I think is a really uh, profound and accurate way to understand that feeling that occurs inside you about how you feel about yourself in each moment. And if you start from what I call the reality and what you might call the supposition that that your life is miraculous, that you that there is a miracle flowing into and through you to produce you, and that's the energy that we know that's flowing through each of our cells, that is this constituent part of each of our cells, this energy of flowing, what I call silence, the energy of life that gives rise to each of the cells of your body, which then interact with each other, trillions of cell interactions at a time to produce you. So this is a miracle that is well beyond the comprehension of scientists, human beings at this point. And it is therefore miraculous to us. It may have there may be more to be understood about how it occurs, but it's certainly miraculous to us. And this is undeniably what produces you. So who you are in each moment is this arising energy, these cells that come together. And given that you emerge from a miracle as a miracle, you are a miracle. And so who you are in any moment at root, most fundamentally, is miraculous. There's no denying that without delusion. And as you add delusion to that reality, what occurs is that you add on to top of that, onto what we call yourself, different stories, different versions of that truth. And the more abstract you get from that truth, the uglier the story of you can get. And so when you think about laying layers on top of the truth that is you, the miraculous truth that is you, slowly adding new layers, you can imagine adding a story that adds layers that from the outside, when you look at it and you look in and you perceive yourself through all these stories, these delusions, it could look very ugly to you. You could judge it very harshly depending on the way that you manufactured that story and the context that that story has grown within, and so how you judge its quality within the story that you created for itself. Yes, and for a lot of people that's true. It becomes an ugly thing to look at, and therefore they feel ugly oftentimes. Some people all the time, and for a lot of people it comes and goes. They feel badly about themselves, and that is just a manifestation of this diluted story arising in that moment, so that when they experience themselves as that, they feel ugly, they feel not good, and the emotions that coincide with that are unpleasant. But when you understand yourself that way, the construction of yourself that way, and you learn to slowly move from the outside in, so from these delusional narratives, these stories that are defining you, in to less story, closer to truth, more towards that miracle that you are, and you can make that journey into yourself, into the truth of what you are with intention. You see all along that journey back to yourself, back to the silence that you are, back to the truth, the miracle, the energy that you are, that you're shedding old, inaccurate, and in some way delusional stories that are manifesting your negative experience of yourself, your negative feelings about yourself, your negative view of yourself. And so that's part of why it's so beautiful to make that journey back into the truth of who and what you are. And then you can emerge back out into the stories of you, the stories of yourself, the stories of your life. And if you move out from the center, you will at least have a chance not to get so diluted that you start seeing yourself with distortions that make you feel terrible about yourself, and instead stay close enough, connected to that energy, that source, so that all the energy that flows through you, and therefore how you feel and how you feel about yourself stays connected to the truth, stays connected to the reality of your miraculousness. Now, it's a lot to think about. It's a lot to process. As you go inside yourself more frequently by mind exercising, and more clearly build that inner world map, then you're able to spend time more easily inside yourself so that you can clearly navigate around. And when that happens, the description I just gave to you of what occurs in your psychology and your inner world to produce negative feelings will become much more intuitive and clear to you and feel less abstract. And so that's a large part of the reason that we do mind exercise, to get that clarity, to build that map, and ultimately to build a really clear sense of connection and clear skill of reconnecting to that truth inside you, to the light inside you. Okay, so let's do that now. Let's do some mind exercise.